Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Love, and if you're new here, you're very much welcome. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do well to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so you get notified each time I drop new content on my channel. And to everyone who has been on this journey with me, thank you very much. I really do appreciate. And please, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, so please do well to hit that subscribe button. And thank you also for tuning into today's video. So on today's video, I'm going to be talking about or giving you an update about the UK government launching a new visa route in spring, that's April. This route is called the ScaleUp Visa. Majority of you must have heard about it, and I'm going to be sharing with you those who are eligible, how to apply, advantage and the disadvantage of this particular route visa. And if this sounds interesting to you, please do well to watch this video to the end.
I could be the best thing in your life. You got me singing. You look like a guy you could dream.
Basically, we've all been hearing about healthcare and the likes of it, and most people have applied through this route to come to the UK. And most persons don't just want this sort of job, or they're not interested being an healthcare assistant because they've heard about reviews of this job. But thankfully, there are other opportunities that the UK government is still introducing and will still introduce. So one is the ScaleUp Visa. I want to talk about the ScaleUp Visa, why it was introduced, and an explanation of what a ScaleUp Visa is. So while a ScaleUp Visa was introduced was because with the UK job vacancy at a 20-year high, an economy bouncing back from the pandemic, and no more free movement within the EU, the new work visa route in March immigration rules changes can't come too soon for many businesses. The next pillar of the UK post-Brexit immigration system, set out in 202-page mass statement of changes, includes the government flagship and the global business mobility and high potential individual. So I'm going to tell you what a ScaleUp Visa is. ScaleUp Worker Visa involves two stages. The first stage requires a job offer from the ScaleUp sponsor, so the person that will be sponsoring you, just like we had agency who will be sponsoring people for the healthcare jobs and carer job in the UK. The two stages requires a job offer from an eligible ScaleUp sponsor, and the applicant will need to meet requirements of sponsorship. So if you are planning on applying for this ScaleUp Visa, you will need to meet some requirements by your ScaleUp sponsor. Skill level and salary, as well as English language and finance requirements similar to the other sponsored routes. So you provide English language. I mean, you have to show that you know how to speak English and you write in English as well, and you have some financial requirements are required from you just to know how well you are equipped to come to the UK. The second 3-year stage allows existing ScaleUp workers and flexibility to remain without sponsorship based on previous UK payee earning. So obviously, if you've stayed for 5 years, which you'll be entitled as a permanent resident, then you automatically leave the ScaleUp sponsor and be on your dependent on yourself. The ScaleUp workers will be able to switch to different sponsored rules in the first 6 months. After at least 6 months in sponsored work, ScaleUp workers can undertake any work, including voluntary, self-employed work, except for work in professional sports person or coach. So you cannot work as a sports person in the UK as a coach because you came on this visa route, but then you can be able to take up on other jobs on sponsorship visa or open a business here in the UK for yourself. So I'll be talking about who is eligible for the ScaleUp Visa. Sponsored ScaleUp Visa applicant must have a valid certificate of sponsorship from an A-rated ScaleUp sponsor. So your ScaleUp sponsor will meet the requirement to be able to sponsor someone from outside the UK or in the UK that has not been withdrawn or previously used. So your sponsor, it must be A-rated ScaleUp sponsor that has not been withdrawn or previously used. A qualifying sponsor must be authorized by the Home Office to sponsor the job in question under the ScaleUp route. So who your ScaleUp sponsor is, the Home Office should be able to go through their findings to know if this person is eligible to sponsor someone on the ScaleUp Visa or not. To qualify as a ScaleUp, a sponsor will need to show annualized growth in either turnover or staffing at least 20% for the previous 3 years period, and that they had a minimum of 10 employees at the start of their period. Who is going to be your ScaleUp sponsor will be able to show some documents or history that they've employed more than 20 or 10 employees in a particular period of time, either a year or 2 years, and they will have to show like a turn-up rate of how much they earn in a year thereabouts. I'm going to also be talking about who can qualify as a ScaleUp worker. As with sponsoring employees on other visas, there is a genuineness requirement where the Home Office must be convinced that the sponsored individual is filling a genuine vacancy. For the Home Office to be able to know that you are eligible for this role, you have to convince the individual with a genuine vacancy that yes, you are eligible for this particular role with a ScaleUp visa or sponsor. The job for which the applicant is sponsored must be an appropriate skill level, demonstrated by the selection of an appropriate standard occupational classification. The job for which the applicant is sponsored must be a minimal skill level of RQF level 6, same as the outgoing intra-company transfer or incoming global business mobility routes, and the hold of tier 2 visa. The salary threshold is at least £33,000 per annum. So that's basically what you be earning as a ScaleUp individual or worker. Is even higher than a skilled worker. Skilled workers earn about £25,000 per annum. It must be at a going rate for the sponsored job and at least £10.58 per hour. So on a ScaleUp visa or a ScaleUp worker, you'll be earning about £10.58 per hour. So depending on your sponsor, some sponsor might pay you £11 or £12, but the minimum is £10.58 per hour. That's quite good. Are you sure I will not transfer to this ScaleUp? The salary only includes guaranteed basic gross pay and cannot include allowances or other benefits, in the same way as already applies for those on skilled work visas. I will be taking you through the requirements for a ScaleUp worker to settle here in the UK. So after 5 years of continuous qualifying residence, so I think every year your sponsor will keep renewing your visa till after 5 years, then you are qualified for a permanent residency. That's if you are doing well on your job and your sponsor is quite impressed with the outputs you put in the job or in your role, then they can continuously renew your visa till after your 5 years when you become a permanent resident and you're able to settle down in the UK. A ScaleUp worker may be eligible to apply for an indefinite leave to remain in the UK. The continuous residence period can also include time spent in the skilled worker, global talent, innovator, 2M Minister of Religion, international sports person, representative of an overseas business or tier 2-1 categories, excluding graduate entrepreneurs. These are the type of visa routes that the UK government is planning to launch for people who are planning to come here on this sponsored visa route. To be eligible for settlement, the applicant must be in employment in the UK on the date of application with a payee salary paid of at least £33,000 per year, plus monthly payee earnings in the UK equivalent to at least £33,000 per year during at least 24 months of 3 years immediately before the date of the application. Qualifying earnings and treatment of salary during this period of permitted leave are the same as for scoring points for permission to stay under the unsponsored route above. So I think there's some requirements for you to remain in the UK after you spend 5 years on the sponsored route on the ScaleUp visa. So you have to have scored some points while working on the job, so for you to be eligible to remain indefinitely in the UK. So for those people that are asking, can family join the ScaleUp worker visa? So I'm going to be telling you this if your family is eligible to join you on this route visa. Dependents, partners, and dependent children are able to apply to company or join ScaleUp worker in the UK. So if you have family, you have a wife, you have children, they are good to join you on this route. Dependent partners are able to apply to accompany or join a scale-up worker in the UK. Relationship, age, and care requirements apply in similar categories such as skilled worker, as those the finance requirements where the dependent applying has not been living in the UK at least 12 months. So they're about £285 for a dependent partner, then £315 for the first dependent child, and £200 for each additional dependent. So for your first dependent, which is your wife, she'll be paying about £285 for your partner, that's your wife or your husband. Then for your first dependent, that means your child, it can be your first child, you'll be paying £315. Then if you have other children, maybe your second child or your fourth child, they will be paying £200 for them to apply for this route. The sponsor of a scale-up worker can only certify the finance requirements for dependents if the date of application is at least 1 month before the end of minimum 6 months that the scale-up worker must work for the sponsor. Okay, that's quite okay. Dependents will be granted the same amount of permission to stay as the scale-up worker. So if you are granted 5 years to work on the scale-up visa, your dependents, which will be your spouse or your children or your husband or your wife, will be granted the same lengthen period or the same year as the primary applicants on this route. For the 3 years, if the scale-up worker has been, if it's 3 years they are granting you, so that 3 years your dependents, which is your wife, your husband, or your children, will have the same year as well. In order to qualify for settlement, dependent partners must complete a continuous period of 5 years in the UK with permission as a partner of the scale-up worker or former scale-up worker if applicable. Dependent children can apply for settlement if both parents have been or are being granted settlement or sole responsibility as rules apply. So the main applicant has been granted indefinite leave to remain in the UK. The children has the same rights to remain in the UK as well. What are the benefits? I'm also going to be sharing with you what are the benefits of a scale-up visa. The UK government has hyped his flagship post-Brexit scale-up visa as a fast-track, smoother route for eligible employers and employees. The skilled worker visa, while minimal skill level and salary requirements are both higher than the current skilled worker visa. The lack of skills charge and the short period of sponsorship may help reduce costs and admins for firms. There are still some outstanding questions on how the sponsorship side of the process will work in practice and how streamlined it will be, including how and when companies can apply for a license and what level of admin will be expected of them. Though this could be a double-edged sword for employers looking to retain their services, you can recruit an existing scale-up worker without further visa application. So if you have applied before and your visa has expired, if your recruiter or your sponsor find you good for the role and they like your services you're offering to the company or to their business, they would apply for you again to remain on that scale-up visa instead of telling you that they are no longer interested in your services. Unlike other sponsored routes, they are not restricted to working for you. The flip side of this freedom is that migrants will need to be especially careful to ensure that they accrue enough earnings under a payee scheme to score sufficient points for the next step of their visa journey. So on the job, you will need to have scored a particular point that will be eligible for you to apply for your next visa journey. This visa route is quite good. It's just the same way as the skilled worker visa, but this one is quite different because the pay is quite higher and you have a minimum of 3 years to work for a particular employer or 6 months, and if you don't find them interesting anymore, you can either switch to another employer or start something for yourself. I haven't said much about the scale of work visa. If you find this video interesting or it was informative to you, please give it a thumbs up, share this video, and if you have watched this video to this end and you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do well to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so you get notified each time I drop new content on my channel. Thank you guys for watching today's video. Till I see you next time. Bye.